Mostly it means we are not learning what we should have learned. How many times we were anxious, upset, stressed, suffering last week? See, everyone started
What
laughing.
about this week?
What should I say?
How
What
about
should
this week?
what should I understand? Last week, in the sense that since we completed the last week's session until today, how many times we were upset, we were anxious, and we started laughing. So, what should I understand? Is what should I understand? Understand this. This is what the journey of the self discovery is. So simple to understand. Does a tree outside in your patio in a backyard get stressed this week? Think. So if we do not start thinking and reflecting, mind, why you take me to the stress, unnecessary anxiety, even with a person I call him or her honey? Mind, why don't you understand? We take it for granted that we have been doing it for days and weeks and months and years. Is it not true? We don't frequently change honey or people or relations. We don't have a luxury to change it. We don't have an option. You see that? That is when you start thinking like this, then you have started living wisely. So when we do not start thinking and we continue with the blame, complain, reaction game, we are not living wisely. My master used to say, how long you live, take it 100 years as compared to billions of years of the time has passed for the existence of this earth planet. Do you have a time to be in stress, blame and complain in this such a little time of 100 years? Everyone is silent. Oh, I have a lot of time. Do you see? The more Eastern wisdom not only changes the way we think, it also changes the entire perception towards the life. Can you say to your honey, I don't want to waste my time to be into stress. When you calm down, then I will talk to you. But what will happen to my ego? My ego says, how can I say this? We were doing a wonderful topic. You have to listen to it again, Charlie. So living wisely, a simple word, living wisely. So you start thinking, do you have a time to blame, complain, reaction, getting anxious because of others, because of situation outside, because of things outside? So what do you mean? Are you saying yes, I have a lot of time? Oh, you have a lot of time? Okay, okay. I said, you are saying yes, yes. My goodness, we don't have time. Do you see? The moment you start thinking, your anxiety fades away. The very reaction and the blame disappears. and the life takes an about turn because we forget. Forgetfulness means that we follow the habitual animal ways, and then what happens? Then you go to the teacher and ask, how long it will take me to succeed? You will not succeed forever because you follow the old routine. You have more time. You have more time to blame, complain, reaction, to get anxious. 100 years as compared to trillions of years of this earth planet. We are even, like it appears even less lifespan as compared to the mosquito. And in that such a short span, we have time for stress and suffering. Look at the way our masters think. You see, all of our stress and the suffering first begins at the thought level in the mind. If the mind is relaxed, calm, rested, aware, and alert, that very mind manifests in speech and action, which is right and good. Job is done. Or do you think that the moment you see a person, that person is responsible for you to react? Outer situation is responsible for you to react, to be angry, to be anxious, or it is my mind, or it is my mental state. Are others responsible or I'm responsible? It is my mind which is responsible. So we simply say it is impurity of the mind. So you purify the mind and job is done. Many people ask me, I've been practicing for so long with you. Really? Are you really practicing? So you realize that you don't have a time for anxiety. Life is so short. Lifespan is just, 80, maximum 80, 90 years. Life expectancy in our country. Can I declare to my near and the dear ones with whom we have lot of score to settle? The moment they become anxious, react, and there's no, I don't have a time to react. So when you calm down, then you talk to me. I'm ready to communicate with you in the state of calmness and relaxation. Keep a smile on the face. I know you all are doing it, so I have no problem. John says, yes, I'm doing it. You, do you see the wisdom in it? The moment your mind says this, your anxiety and reaction is gone. But we should have a daring attitude not to be angry, but to say this. Why we don't have, we forget it. What is the forgetfulness? That is ignorance. That is what we say. So if we go a little deeper, we say the mental state. That mental state is first. Then you have the thoughts in the mind, how these thoughts taking over your life to express it in speech and action. So first is the mental state. We get carried away. our mental state changes. Do you see that? You wake up in the morning and you had some problem with your near and the dear ones. The morning you get up, it was a very good morning, but it became a bad morning the moment you have a thought about the person with whom you reacted yesterday. So first is the mental state. It was good. I do not I left or I forgot to continue that state of a good morning because I got carried away by the thought of blame and complaint which happened yesterday, and then instantly that good morning becomes the bad morning. Now you stand up. So even while walking to the restroom, your walking style changes. Oh, have you noticed us? Yes, I have noticed you, all of you. So again, I'm repeating, mental state is the deepest. Then you have the thoughts, which thought you nourish and nurture at that moment. And that thought is going to be expressed in speech, followed by the physical action. Do you ever say, when you say that, I have a lot of knee pain and you start jumping? Thought is that you have a knee pain. So you cannot jump. They both are contradictory. See that? Same way, you have an element of reaction inside your mind. And can you smile? Answer is no. Can you follow your speech in calmness? And no. So the way you notice yourself, the others also have noticed you, and especially the near and dear ones. And then the journey starts, which you cannot imagine. This. So if we go a little deeper, remember that. Just remember, what is my mental state today while talking to near dear ones, strangers? Okay, is the mental state calm and relaxed? I'm living wisely. I have to live wisely because there is no chance. I don't want to give life a chance to be in the stress and reaction. I said, see the simple principle. So my expression also is also coming out of the calmness and peace. So my physical gestures also follows the same. So day by day, you start living wisely, day by day. And the time comes, the mind has changed. Now, I'm not talking of rocket science. It's very simple. We all seem to be, we all are mature. When John says yes, then only I agree that yes, we are mature. Otherwise, so you see that mental state again. I'm repeat. So you just remember before I speak, is my mental state is okay, calm, relaxed. I have a choice to be mentally calm and relaxed. If I don't invite the thoughts, that causes the reaction. See that? So I'm living wisely. So I'm going to express those thoughts out of the calmness and the peace. And obviously, my physical action will follow the suit. And day by day, day by day. It doesn't happen like this. My life is too complex. Yesterday a woman told me, I said, okay. I said, women's life is always complex, you know. No man has ever understood. She said, I'm crying and you are joking. I said, no, I'm very serious. Unless you tell me what is the problem, how can I understand what is the problem? Because she was not telling me. She was only saying that, I have a lot of complex problems. So now our master speaks out that where lies the problem? Where lies the problem? So when we say the impurity of the mind, when we say the ignorance of the mind, when we say uh, delusion in the mind, what it means, how to understand that. Take an example of a sugar. We all like sugar, the sweet, since our childhood. We are happy. We liked it. We eat it. We eat candies and we eat dessert, etc. But when we have a diabetes, the sugar is a poison. Sugar is the same. For the mind in the childhood, that sugar, and after having a diabetes, that sugar does not change its quality. My perception towards the sugar has changed. Did you understand? My perception of the sugar has changed. Now the sugar is poison, before it was. So now replace the sugar with your honey, with the situation. You will come to know why there's a problem. I tell the couple, did you choose your partner, that your partner is going to be a poison in future? On that basis, you have chosen a partner? No, never. Oh, so now he has become or she has become a poison now. What about your mind? Are you getting it? We have to take care of the mind. We have to take care of the mind. Sugar is the same. I have to change my perception. The moment you change the perception, everything changes in the world. Because we live in a wrong notion, we live in a delusion. Oh, when we were dating, you loved me so much, but now your love is exhausted now. Your love is exhausted. No fuel left, as if love is a fuel. More than that, my perception towards a person has changed. But my ego prevents me to recognize it. So the conflict continues. So I stop living wisely. So think of this thing, why we are not able to. So then Master further strengthens our intellect with the knowledge that are you so weak that you get carried away by the outer situation, people's responses, condition in the time? Is it so that every day sun rises from the east, it enters into your house? How you feel that one day it is a good morning and the second day is it a bad morning? There is nothing like good morning and bad morning. Morning is always same. Honey is always the same. Why it is bad or good? Did you Conclude in your mind. The bad and good because of my mental perception. Why we get so easily carried away by the outer situation, events, condition, people, and relations? Because the mind is weak. The weak mind is impure mind. The impure mind constantly keeps the same impression stored for years and years, and then it works with those impressions. That is the mental state. These impression triggers the mind looking at the outer situation. We get upset, frustrated, anxious, and we constantly suffer. Then we have more time to live in stress and suffering. Even then, we realize our lifespan is hardly 80 or 90 years old. Have you seen sometime people say that, you don't know how much I'm suffering. I have been suffering for the last 20 years. You will continue to suffer for another 20 years. See, how many times? Now, that is why now I'm asking the same question again. Based on this understanding, ask yourself how many times you were upset, agitated, reacted, stressed last week since our last session. I had a session with the Ukrainian group. So this guy said only 3 times, sir, in his last week. So I said, very good. Only 3 times, yes. Rest of the time. So I was happy. I said, wonderful. So you see that first is the mental state, second is the thinking, then we express in speech, and the fourth point is we express it in our action. So the root is my mental state. So if we keep that mental state, we are aware of it, we are aware that it is calm and relaxed, then we have the thoughts which will also support the calmness and relaxation and our expression and then our action. Finished. The journey continues and the journey begins. Now ask the question, do I have a choice? Yes, I have a choice. Why? Because we are a human being. We have an intellect. We can make a choice. Either I get upset over you, or I leave that being upset over you. I have a level of endurance. I maintain that calm and peace. I follow the calm and peace in my thought and speech and action. Finish. Don't we have a choice? Say yes or no. We have a choice. So which choice is better now? Which choice is better and which choice we exercise? That will prove whether you are living wisely or not. Well, do you think that we are living unwisely? No, I don't think. Why should I think about you? You have to think about yourself. I don't have enough time. Why should I think about you? You should think about yourself. I have this couple who is attending the group program, and almost 4 years ago, before the COVID, they invited me. Someone referred me, common friend, And then I went to their house. So in the very first session, they were totally upset against each other. They were constantly reacting. You know, you don't know how the existence helps you in this journey. So in the first session, the husband is a wonderful entrepreneur. He has a lot of, and at the same time, the wife is also self-dependent. So first two sessions, there was a tremendous resistance. But in the third session, something clicked to the husband and the wife. It has been, I would say, in 2018. So they sponsored the group program on Mondays and Thursdays. The couple attends, and in these years, they have evolved. They have set an example to their kids. They are grown up. So now they point to each other how to evolve. And they say, the wife says, you see that you never saw the reaction in me, but my mind reacted very softly. So I'm going to change it. The husband never noticed. Do you see? That is the level of evolution. It's a real life. And they have been supporting my Mondays and Thursdays program. Think of this. This is what the teacher in the Eastern wisdom helps us to remove that misunderstanding, the way we think, the way we express, the way we see the world outside. Our, our mind thinks and concludes the outer situation, people, and the relations causes me the trouble. So Eastern wisdom changes. No. If my mind is not open to those reactions, my mind is not going to be influenced and dictated so I can live wisely. Why should I be influenced? I don't have enough time. I'm not going to waste my time on anxiety, reaction, duality, and a conflict, and the life changes. The moment you think in the mind and then you maintain that, those who do it, they are daring. No, no, I'm very much daring, I'm ready to fight and react. This is what the Eastern wisdom says. No, you are not daring, you are very weak. It is the weakness of the mind, and the weak mind is the impure mind. Hi, anyhow, eyes are closed. With that knowledge, keep that knowledge in your head, and we will do the practice. Eyes are closed, mind is to adjust and align the body. So, what we discussed today, we will follow that. So, eyes are closed, body is aligned and adjusted. And once we live in an extraordinary awareness, we need not to follow this step of being comfortable. But still, we are doing it so that this mind will realize. You look at the neck joint, be there, feel. sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Shoulder joints. So, why I'm saying picking up the joints so that your mind lives with awareness, becomes alert. Otherwise, these joints has no meaning in the meditation at all. But it has a meaning because we follow it. So the mind goes to the shoulder joints, be there, feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. The entire body, the entire body. Now also being carefree. We discussed a lot about being carefree. Thoughts are coming and going. Let the thought come and go. Don't worry about it. Let the thought come and go. So, because if we do not separate these thoughts, we then the problem will never be solved. Then we go little deeper. And how we go deeper? There are many. With that knowledge intact in your mind, that is what we discussed. So you look at the head and the neck. Or if I say you move the mind on the skin of the head and the neck, so you start feeling the sensation. You are conscious of it. What happens in anger and hesitation? You also feel the sensation there. So, in both the cases, the mind has one pattern of feeling. Feeling is the same, but the knowledge behind that feeling is different. Knowledge behind that feeling is that mind is moving inside, and that leads to sensation, relaxation, and stillness. But when the knowledge behind the mind is anger and the reaction, what do we feel? As if this mind is running outside. It wants to release some energy outside. And what happens in relaxation? It wants to store, preserve. Feeling and the sensation are always the same. Why the skin does not recognize the feeling of anger and the feeling of relaxation are two different. It is the mental interpretation. And we already discussed the deepest mental state, then the thought, then the speech, then the action. So if the mind is still running and you are doing the practice, then we have to do a lot. Okay, look at the right arm. Be there, feel sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Left arm, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Right leg, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Left leg, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. The entire body. We are asking the mind to go to the root why you react, and that's why we are moving the mind deeper and deeper. So simple. So when you keep that awareness, the mind is moving inside. No, my mind is complaining about a person and a situation. Mind is already outside. So we know why we fail, and we also know why we succeed. So the entire body lives in the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Let us go in a passive way today. No active steps. So look at the breath that is going in and out. Feel the sensation of the breath. Do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. To facilitate, to help you succeed, I have made it an easy way. There are 3 points of awareness. Awareness point number one, you know the breath is going in and out. Awareness point number two, you feel the sensation of the breath inside the nose. Awareness point number three, you do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. Why? The moment you change, oh, the mind has silently tricked some impression from the past. So, what should I do? Do nothing. Return again. Look at it. The mind, the breath will return to the natural flow. So, it is to enhance our level of awareness. When we enhance our self-awareness, it reveals something more. What is something more? Let me give you a simile, a metaphor. We all drive our cars. So driving forward, so before you do the reverse, the car stops even for a fraction of a millisecond. And then again driving forward. Same thing happens with our natural flow of the breath going in. Before it returns, there is a space, there is a pause. Can I recognize that pause? Just know it. Do not hold the breath. So, in one tradition, we hold the breath to create a pause, long pause. Here we are recognizing that pause. Breath goes in before it comes out, there is a pause. The breath goes in, breath goes in before it goes in, there is a pause. So, can I say breath in, pause, breath out, pause, breath in? There is a momentary pause. So, moving the mind does not mean that you are moving the mind within the body. No, within yourself. Within yourself means that I raise my level of awareness. I start living in enhanced level of self-awareness. What will happen? The unwanted, unwelcome, uninvited thoughts will stop entering into your mind. Oh, is that so? Let me see. It happens. Because the mind lives with a greater self awareness, so you can easily see breath in, pause, breath out, pause, breath in. And it's a natural pause. You are not holding the breath. And now, if we recognize that this breath in, pause, breath out, pause, all are happening in the space, in emptiness. So, can I say like this outside? Breath in, pause, breath out, pause, continues. But inside, deeper, there is one unitary, infinite space. What happens when the mind is absorbed into that infinite space? What happens? You lose the objectivity. When you lose the objectivity, you are in the state of, can I say meditation? Yes. Even I need not to say when the mind is already absorbed into the space, and just on the surface, the mind is still aware of the breath, the pulse going in and out. That is least important. What is important? That am I living in extraordinary awareness where the mind is not objectified, is going to help me to discover that peace and happiness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. In these sessions, I give a bites of the practice, and you can extend this practice by repeating it again and again and again. We have 1 week, is very precious, so that we realize that we are not prone to being upset and anxious. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences. Bring your hands down. We will share our experiences. So, what happened, Charlie? Hmm,
I felt like I melted into the space.
that's one.
Yeah, my mind was busy, and then I just kept bringing it back, and then I didn't want to come back when you said think of your hands.
Okay. You see that is the process. We should not think that I have lot of thoughts. When the mind kept wandering, and when you say that you are able to bring it back, yes. What do you mean by bringing it back? Do you need to make an effort? Do you get exhausted? No. You are simply aware. Mind is there. Now it is here. Again, it is there. It is here. Where? We have already talked. How are you, Sophie?
I'm very good, but I think I dozed.
You don't know where
No,
you
I
were.
do know. I think I dozed off a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But you are calm and relaxed. Good.
Yes,
How are
yes,
you?
yes.
Good. How are you, Mead?
Sensation, relaxation,
And,
steadiness.
and steadiness.
My
Yes,
motto.
yes, Mead, you
Right.
have to see that it continues until we have the next session. How are you, Anne?
Oh, I I feel very grounded and quiet. But you know what happens? When I my mind is completely empty. I could not tell you what you talked about. And then later on in the evening, before I go to bed, I listened to the tape again and said, "Oh, that's what he said." It's very strange. It came back. I think I have a problem with an attention span, because I cannot listen to every word up to the end.
And don't think that you have that kind of an attention span. We all have the same. Some people don't admit, and some people admit it. Everyone has the
I
same.
was tested.
So there is a point that when you listen to it again and again, doing the practice, your mind says, "Oh, this is what he meant."
Oh,
So that is why we have to do the repeat listening and we have to do the repeat practice. What you are doing is definitely great. So that is why we have to do it every time. So every time you do the listen to it and every time you are doing the practice, sometime your attention span on the first 5 minutes of the talk, when you repeat it second time, now your attention span is more on the 10th minute of the talk. So that goes together. That helps you to perfect the practice.
okay.
Otherwise, we can perfect the practice just by one session, but that is not possible.
All right.
That is why we have to do a lot of contemplation. So, how are you, John?
Hey, Girish, I'm fine. My attention span usually lasts 5 seconds, but it was better today, and the practice was fine. And I also appreciated the talk before the practice. It was very good.
Oh, yeah.
So, if your level of appreciation goes on increasing, your attention span will also increase. So, what does it mean by the attention span? That is what I was talking, the mental state. Now, that calmer mental state is opposed by the impressions that we have already accumulated in the mind. That is what the attention span breaks up. But now, if the mind is totally pure, the attention span will naturally increase. So that is why we have to do the regular practice. Thank you, my friends. That's all. We will meet again next week. But I will ask you the same question. How many times you were upset since last week? So be prepared to answer me.